Okay, back to tackle the left side of the installation of the Goat Fabrication side steppers 2025 R1S. Back in all-terrain mode to put it to maximum height to give us some clearance to get some work done. Let's take a look at what we're gonna tackle here. It looks like we also have 3 panels, and I had a little bit of a light bulb moment. I'm gonna try to do this much more efficiently than the driver's side. Okay, as with the passenger side, or driver's side, we're going to start by removing the front panel. This is a T27 socket. Okay, you have 2 of these, and we have another one here. And then these are T20s size, and those are the 4 screws you got to remove. And once you remove your screws, you remove the panel from the inside, grab and pull so that these back tabs come out. Now, okay, got this one freed, and I've got the second tab loosened. I'm just going to pull down. And it comes right out. We're good. Okay, so that front panel's been removed, and we're going to do something differently. We're only going to remove the front panel because we can figure out exactly where the other holes need to be, because we have the stepper itself, which is it's made to specifications. So we just need to measure from hole to hole. The first side, it looks like a 12 3/4 inch. So what I've done is I've found that first bolt, and I've measured from exactly from there to 12 3/4 inch, and I've marked the spot, and that's where the other bolt is. And the same thing for the next side. From this hole to this hole is 15 3/4. And so I've gone for my first mark, and I've proceeded to mark 15 3/4 over here. So that's the center of the third bolt, and the same for the last, another 15 3/4, and I've already marked that. Okay, so I've marked out my squares where I'm going to cut. I first marked the position of the bolt, okay, and then made a line. It says 1 1/4, but it's more like 1 1/2 from the very edge of the panel, from the bottom, and this top one here, 4 1/4 to 4 1/2 from the edge, the visible edge, and that's the top line. So then proceeded to mark all along, and then you measure out 1 3/4 on each side of the center, which is going to give you 3 1/2 inches width, which is what you need for this to fit. Slightly tricky to get this ink pen to write upside down. It's gravity fed. You push this down, so I got this paper to just feed it to get the ink, and then when you have fresh ink on the tip, that's when you make your line. Another thing we're going to have to keep in mind is these are pieces of the panels that I removed from the driver's side. Some of them have these long strips, so that might pose a challenge to cut them from the inside, because you won't be able to flip the panel around to cut these. Okay, almost cut out this first square, and to my surprise, it actually seemed a little easier to cut it underneath the car, because I found I can really apply more force on the razor blade. This is almost loose here. I'm sure it's just those pieces of plastic that are holding on from those long pieces. Yeah. Okay, so that worked out pretty well. Some of these were not quite close, but it was very easy. Just trim a little off the edge to make it centered. And these are the pieces we've cut out. Remaining part is I loosely put this front panel on so I can align that screw and mark with a pen exactly where the center of that screw is. And I'll use those same measurements to cut out a square for the final piece. Okay, so I've cut out the hole for the first bolt here in this front panel, and I've reinstalled the front panel with the T20 and T27 bolts. And that's it. You know, the rest of it is much faster and pretty easy. The slowest and hardest part is cutting these holes. I'm just going to take these off now and put the new ones on, just like the other side, and this will be done. Okay, and that's a wrap for the installation of these side steppers. The left side took substantially shorter time because I left the panels on maybe 2 hours as opposed to the initial 3, but I was very meticulous and measurements and figured things out. So hopefully this is helpful. Take care.